Every spark that flew from the fire felt like a reminder. We were here, we were together, we were alive. I made a promise to myself that night. I'd never let anyone hurt him again. Not while I was here. As the night went on, I knew one thing for sure. This bond between us would never break, no matter what. That marshmallow was sticky, sweet, and perfect, just like this moment we were sharing. I didn't need to say anything. My eyes said it all. You're safe with me. In that firelight, all our fears, all our hurt, it just faded away. We were just two guys being there for each other. That afternoon in class, I watched a conflict explode over a simple manga. Eugen had lent his favourite BL manga to Onita, never expecting this reaction. Onita slammed it shut, spitting out homophobic garbage that made my blood boil. Eugen went deathly still, like he was trying to disappear into his seat. Then Reiji stormed in, his presence shifting the entire mood in seconds. He didn't hold back, calling out Onita's bigotry right there in front of everyone. Onita froze mid-laugh, his cocky grin fading faster than I've ever seen. Eugen's head shot up, his eyes wide with shock and something like hope. Just when things got too heated, Yuma stepped in to calm Reiji down. Onita mumbled something under his breath, too cowardly to say it loud. Eugen packed his bag slow, glancing at Onita's back one last time. Reiji gave Eugen a small nod, like he was saying, it's going to be okay. I hung back, my fist still clenched, ready to jump in if I had to. When the bell rang, everyone cleared out fast, leaving that heavy silence behind. Eugen walked out first, his shoulders still hunched like he was carrying the weight of it all. Reiji and Yuma followed, Reiji still visibly ticked off about what went down. Onita was left alone, staring at that manga, like he still couldn't process what happened. I stayed for a minute longer, already planning how to check on Eugen later. That day changed something between us, something I couldn't put into words yet. As we walked out, I made a silent promise to always have Eugen's back. He gave me a small smile, but I could see the hurt still lingering in his eyes. Reiji caught up, clapping a hand on Eugen's shoulder like he was trying to cheer him up. The sun was starting to set, painting the sky pink, like it was trying to wash away the day's ugliness. I pulled Eugen close, hoping I could take even a little of that hurt away. Reiji slammed his hand on the desk. This was the first time I saw him this fired up. Onita's face drained of colour instantly, and Eugen snapped his head up, eyes locking on Reiji. Reiji leaned in, every word sharp and cutting, he wasn't backing down. Yuma stepped in, trying to pull Reiji back, but he didn't budge an inch. The classroom went dead silent, every single eye was on them now. Eugen's shoulders slumped, like a huge weight had just been lifted off him. Reiji kept going, talking about love without limits, that no one got to judge who people loved. Onita's face turned bright red, but he couldn't say a single word back. Eugen started packing his bag slow, his eyes still darting to Onita every now and then. We walked out of the classroom, and Eugen mumbled a quiet praise for Reiji under his breath. But I could see it, his heart was still broken over what Onita had said. Reiji clapped Eugen on the shoulder, trying to cheer him up, but it didn't really help. I squeezed Eugen's wrist tight, trying to let him know I was there, no matter what. Reiji and Yuma split off at the stairs, leaving just me and Eugen alone. We went up to the roof, sitting on the edge, watching the sun set in, pink and orange. Eugen held his manga tight, the same one he'd lent Onita, the one that started all this. I handed him a soda, and his hands were still shaking, even as he took it. He mumbled something quiet about how he didn't think he could ever like anyone again after this. I pulled him into a hug, and he leaned into me, his body shaking a little like he was holding back tears. The sun kept setting, and for a while, we just stayed there, not saying anything at all. Onita hurt Eugen. I wasn't going to let him get away with it, not this time. I cornered him by the lockers, my fists clenched so tight, my knuckles whitened. He froze, then held up his hands like he was surrendering. Good, he should be scared. But before I could act, I heard footsteps. Eugen was rushing over, panic in his eyes. He grabbed my arm, yanking me back like he was scared I'd break something, or someone. I stared daggers at Onita, ready to tear into him for what he did to Eugen. Onita leaned against the locker, gasping like he'd run a marathon. Good, he deserved it. But Eugen didn't let go. He pulled me away, his grip tight like he was afraid to lose me too. I spattered his shoes before I left. A small, petty victory, but it felt good. We walked away, Eugen still holding my arm like he thought I'd bolt back. Behind us, I could hear Onita hyperventilating. He wouldn't bother Eugen again, not after this. Eugen's hand was shaking as he held me. I knew he wasn't just scared for Onita, he was scared for me. When we got to the end of the hall, he finally spoke. His voice was quiet, almost broken. He said he didn't want to fight, that he hated seeing me angry, but I knew better. I pulled him into a hug, holding him tight. He wasn't just scared of fighting, he was scared of being hurt again. I told him I'd always protect him, that no one would ever hurt him again. I meant it. We walked towards the school gates together, our hands still intertwined. For once, I felt like I was doing the right thing. He looked up at me and smiled, small but genuine. That smile made everything worth it. As we left the school grounds, I made a promise to myself I'd never let anyone hurt Eugen ever again. Our hands stayed locked together. This wasn't just friendship anymore, this was something stronger, unbreakable. After that hallway mess, I dragged Eugen to our only safe spot, the school rooftop. The sky blushed pink and orange, but neither of us felt like admiring the view. His hand still shook, like he couldn't shake off Onita's cruel words. I pulled a soda from my bag, the only small thing I could do to help. We sat in silence for what felt like hours, neither of us knowing what to say. Eugen stared at the ground, his face pale, like all the colour had drained out. I patted his back, trying to say I'm here without using any words. He finally cracked open the soda, the sound echoing in the quiet rooftop air. He took a small sip, but I could tell he wasn't really tasting it. Our feet dangled over the edge, and I wished I could take all his pain away. Then he opened his mouth, and I held my breath, waiting for what he'd say. I'd never seen him look so broken, like all the light had gone out of him. A tear fell onto his hand, and my heart ached so bad it hurt to breathe. He mumbled something so quiet, I almost didn't catch the words. The wind picked up, blowing his hair over his face, hiding his broken expression. I leaned in closer, desperate to catch every shaky word he spoke. His hand tightened around the soda can until his knuckles blanched white. When he looked up, his eyes were red and swollen, like he'd cried for hours. He said he'd never confess to anyone ever again, like he'd given up on love entirely. I didn't know what to say back, so I just sat there, holding onto his hand. I squeezed his hand tight, trying to tell him I'd never leave him, no matter what. The shadows stretched long as the sun disappeared, and the air grew cold. Finally, he leaned his head on my shoulder, and I could feel him relax a little. I rested my chin on his head, and we stayed like that until the stars came out. In that moment, I swore I'd always be there for him no matter what. It was a quiet night, and Eugene followed me to my bedroom stacked with manga. Every corner was filled with the manga we both loved, a messy but warm sanctuary. Eugene pointed at a quiet character in the pages, a faint smile tugging at his lips. I grabbed the soft brown blanket from my bed, the room growing colder as the night deepened. I handed it to him, and he wrapped himself up, leaning gently against my side. He mumbled something about how the character reminded him of someone he admired. I didn't need to ask who. I knew his heart still ached from Onita's words. The night wore on, and Eugene's eyes grew heavy, his head resting on my shoulder. I brushed his hair back, my heart tightening at how small he looked in that moment. He mumbled in his sleep something about wanting to be braver, to stop being hurt. In that moment, I made a promise to myself, silent but unshakable. I would protect him, no matter what, from the world, from his own fears, from everything that hurt him. The clock ticked past 9, the world outside quieting down for the night. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew I'd be by his side through it all. His breathing evened out, a peaceful look, replacing the sadness in his face. For the first time in days, he looked truly at peace, like he'd forgotten all his pain. I held my hand into a fist, reaffirming the promise I'd made to myself. The night stretched on, wrapping us in a quiet, unspoken bond. I watched him sleep, knowing this moment was something I'd never forget. The soda I'd gotten him sat untouched, but it didn't matter. He was safe now. A faint smile played on his lips in his sleep, and my heart felt lighter than it had in weeks. Walking into class that morning, I noticed Onita wouldn't even glance at Eugene. The air still hung thick with tension from our recent conflicts. Then Reiji caught my eye, sending a playful wink toward Eugene. Under the desk, I squeezed Eugene's hand tight, letting him know I was right here. Class began, but none of us could focus on the lesson at hand. Eugene's cheeks flushed pink as he stole glances at Reiji across the room. Onita flipped his textbook pages nervously, still refusing to look our way. Reiji just kept staring at Eugene, that annoying smirk never leaving his face. I tightened my grip on Eugene's hand, silently warning Reiji to back off. When the bell rang, everyone scrambled to pack up and leave the classroom. But Reiji was already on his feet, heading straight for our desks with a lollipop. He twirled the lollipop between his fingers, clearly trying to taunt me. I shot him a sharp glare, but he just laughed like it was all a joke. The classroom emptied out quickly, leaving only the three of us behind. Eugene clutched his manga book tight, clearly feeling uncomfortable. Reiji leaned against our desk, making it clear he wasn't leaving anytime soon. He held out the lollipop to Eugene, and my gut told me this wasn't over. I started to stand up, but Eugene pulled my wrist to stop me. Eugene shook his head, silently begging me not to cause more trouble. Reiji laughed and pushed the lollipop into Eugene's hand, winning this round. I glared at him harder, knowing this was only the first battle. Reiji waved and walked out, leaving me seething and Eugene confused. Lunchtime in the high school cafeteria today was about to get way more chaotic than usual. Eugene and I were just trying to enjoy our meal, savouring the crispy fried chicken. Then he appeared Reiji, the guy who never missed a chance to ruffle my feathers. He slid into the seat across from us like he owned the place, no invitation needed. Before I could react, he snatched a piece of fried chicken right off Eugene's plate. That did it. I slammed my fist on the table, fury boiling up inside me. Just then, Yuma strolled over, grinning like he already knew what was going on. Eugene just gave an awkward little laugh, pushing his plate a little closer to Reiji. Reiji chewed slowly, that annoying smirk never leaving his face. I glared daggers at him, my hands clenched so tight under the table my knuckles whitened. Yuma laughed, clapping Reiji on the shoulder like this was all just a big joke. Then he leaned in close to Eugene, his voice dropping to a low murmur. Eugene's face fell immediately, his fingers tightening around his plate like he knew what was coming. I didn't need to hear the words to know what he was asking about Onita. The cafeteria roared with noise around us, but at our table, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Reiji leaned back, shooting me a cocky look like he was proud of getting under my skin. Eugene mumbled a quiet response, his eyes fixed on his food like he couldn't bear to look up. Yuma tried to lighten the mood, sliding a drink over to Eugene like nothing had happened. I forced my fist to relax, but I made a silent promise to keep Eugene safe from this garbage. As they stood to leave, I knew this wasn't the last time Reiji would stir up trouble for us. And that wink he threw over his shoulder, it was a challenge I wasn't about to back down from. School's out, and we're heading through the gates, but I can already feel my temper flaring. Walking side by side, the afternoon sun feels way too bright for what's about to happen. Reiji just had to do it, throwing his arm over Eugene's shoulder, like we're all best buddies. I snapped before I could think yanking his arm off Eugene, like it burned me. The air went tense. Reiji looked shocked, like I'd actually slapped him. Then Eugene laughed a soft, warm sound that made my anger falter. he grabbed both our hands, yanking us closer, like he could fix everything with just a touch. I couldn't pull away. His hand was warm, and suddenly I felt stupid for being angry. Reggie just grinned like he thought this whole thing was hilarious. I wanted to glare, but I couldn't. We started walking again, silent but not tense anymore. Eugene was humming softly under his breath. Then Reggie winked at me slow, deliberate, like he knew something I didn't. My face burned. I looked away, pretending to stare at the trees like they were the most interesting thing ever. Eugene gave me a confused look, like he could see my face was on fire. I just shrugged. Reggie leaned in to whisper something to Eugene, and suddenly they both started laughing. I stood there, feeling like the third wheel in my own group of friends, but it didn't feel that bad. I squeezed Eugene's hand without thinking. He squeezed back like he knew I needed it. Reggie was looking at me again, and this time his grin wasn't just playful, it made my chest feel tight. We kept walking, the afternoon sun painting long shadows behind us. Everything felt different, and I didn't know how to feel about it. As we walked, I couldn't stop glancing at Reggie's back. Something was shifting in me, and it scared me. We were just 3 kids walking home after school, but I knew nothing would ever be the same again. Eugene's manga bag slipped a little, showing the cover of his favourite BL manga. I looked away, my face burning again. Reggie noticed, and he raised an eyebrow at me like he was teasing me. I wanted to punch him, but I smiled instead. We reached the intersection where we usually split up. Eugene hesitated, like he didn't want to let go of our hands. Reggie squeezed his hand and waved, walking off like he didn't have a care in the world. I watched him go. It was just me and Eugene now. He smiled at me, and suddenly I didn't feel confused anymore. I just felt warm. On the school rooftop, sunset blushed pink. I knew Eugene carried a shattered heart. He sat silent, shoulders hunched. His red, puffy eyes told the whole story. I didn't need to ask. He'd seen Onita with that girl, I was sure. He leaned into my chest, his body shaking with quiet sobs. I wrapped my arms around him, trying to shield him from the pain. His hands were ice cold, fingers curled tight like he clung to hope. The wind picked up, carrying the faint sound of his ragged breaths. He finally spoke, his voice so small I could barely hear it. His question hung in the air, heavy as the darkening sky. Will you leave me? The words cut through me like a knife. A single tear glinted in the sunset, tracing a path down his cheek. I fumbled for a tissue, my hands shaking as bad as his. His touch was so gentle, it almost broke the last of my resolve. The sky dimmed to deep purple, stars pricking through the dark. I held him tighter, like I could physically keep his heart from breaking. My chin rested on his head, and I whispered the only truth I knew. Never. I'd never leave you, no matter what comes. A tiny, shaky smile tugged at his lips. It was enough for now. We stayed there until the last of the light faded, silent but not alone. Our hands tangled together, a quiet promise in the dark. We stood together, slow and unsteady, ready to face whatever came next. The rooftop was empty again, but something had changed forever. That night, the backyard fire wasn't just keeping us warm, it was holding us together. Me and Eugene, huddled by the flames, we were just 2 kids who needed something to hold onto. We were roasting marshmallows like we didn't have a care in the world, but we both knew better. Eugene was quiet, like always, but in that firelight, he looked lighter, almost happy. He took that first bite, and for a second, all the hurt just melted away. That smile. I'd do anything to make sure he never lost it again. I handed him another one, already perfectly toasted. He didn't even hesitate to take it. Our hands brushed, and I felt it, this bond we had, it was unbreakable. He held onto that marshmallow like it was a promise, like we were finally getting something right. Then he said it, something I'd been waiting to hear for so long. We're like family, ice skate. Those words hit me harder than anything ever had. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded, hoping he could see all the words I couldn't speak. The fire crackled like it was agreeing, like it knew we were meant to be this way. Our shadows merged on the wall like we were never meant to be apart. I put my hand on his shoulder, and he leaned into me. In that moment, everything felt okay. He closed his eyes, and for a while we just sat there silent, but never alone. Above us, the stars were bright, but none of them shone as bright as he did, right there beside me. His face lit up with a smile that made all the guilt fade away. We pulled each other into another hug, this one filled with hope instead of guilt. 6 years later, I sat in a smoky bar with Reggie, beer in hand. His cheeks were pink from alcohol, laughing like there was no tomorrow. Then he leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper about Eugene. My fingers tightened around the glass, my mind racing back to old times. The bar was loud, chaotic, but all I could hear was his voice. He kept pestering me, digging into memories I buried deep. I tried to brush him off, but he wouldn't let the topic drop. The alcohol made my tongue loose, but my guard stayed firmly up. Then he asked the question that made my heart skip a beat. He dropped the laughter, looking at me dead serious all of a sudden. I froze, my mind going completely blank at his question. The bar buzzed around us, but time felt like it had stopped for me. He placed a hand on my arm, his gaze softening just a little. My beer went flat, matching the empty feeling in my chest. I stared at him, struggling to find any words to respond. His messy blonde hair matched the chaotic mess in my head right then. I took a long sip of beer, the bitter taste burning my throat. How do you answer that without laying your heart bare? He waited silently, his eyes never leaving my face for a second. My heart pounded so hard I swore he could hear it, my mind completely blank. I sat in that smoky bar, my face on fire, too afraid to look Reggie in the eye. He kept digging into things I'd hidden for years, things I wanted to stay buried. Then his warm hand landed on my arm, and my breath hitched in my chest. My grip on my beer tightened, the cold glass no match for my racing heart. I took a shaky breath, ready to spill the truth I'd hidden for so long. But just then, the bar door swung open, cutting through the noise like a knife. The creak of the door made every head in the bar turn, including mine. My eyes snapped to the door, and my throat went dry all over again. There stood Eugen and Kater, looking like they owned the place. Reggie followed my gaze, a playful smirk tugging at his lips. I darted my eyes between Reggie and the door, panic rising in my chest. Kater's silver chain glinted in the cold light, a reminder of everything I wasn't ready for. They walked toward the bar like they belonged there, every eye on them. My fingers dug into the bar, my escape plan crumbling before my eyes. Reggie patted my shoulder like he found my panic hilarious. They took the seats next to us, like they'd been invited all along. Eugen smiled at me, that soft, warm smile that always made my chest tight. I forced a smile back, my face burning, hotter than ever before. Kater laced his fingers with Eugen's, and I looked away, my throat tight. The bar buzzed around us, but our little corner felt impossibly quiet. I took a long sip of beer, trying to drown out the noise in my head. Reggie struck up a conversation with Kater like they'd known each other forever. I sat in that smoky bar, watching them. Something about Kater felt wrong. Kater had his arm slung tight around Eugen's waist like he owned him. My jaw tightened. I hated how comfortable he looked with Eugen. He slid me a beer, grinning like he was mocking my anger. Eugen laughed, rambling about their silly daily adventures like nothing was off. He even showed me his new manga, like he was trying to distract me. Then Reggie leaned in, his voice low enough only I could hear. Kater's good for him, he said, but his tone made me suspicious. I didn't buy it. There's no way someone like Kater changed that fast. Kater poured Eugen another drink, his touch lingering too long on his hand. His fingers lingered on Eugen's hand like he was trying to prove something. I squeezed my beer cup so tight I thought it might shatter. The bar was loud, but all I could hear was the sound of my own doubts. Eugen looked at Kater like he hung the moon. He had no idea what might be hidden. Reggie winked at me, like he knew I was onto something. I stared at Kater, trying to read his face. There was definitely something he was hiding. The foam in my beer faded, just like my trust in Kater. Kater wiped something off Eugen's cheek, his touch too gentle for his usual self. I gritted my teeth, determined to find out what Kater was hiding. Then the door opened, and a cold light cut through the bar. Something was about to change. Kater's silver chain glinted in the light. Was that a clue? Reggie patted my shoulder, like he was warning me to drop it. Eugen's manga bag sat on his lap. Was Kater using his favourite things to manipulate him? My scar-tingled old instincts told me I couldn't trust Kater. The neon sign outside flickered, like it was trying to warn me of what was coming. Tonight at the bar, Reggie caught me off guard by poking my arm out of nowhere. Kater and Eugen watched us, grinning like they knew something I didn't. I laughed and shoved him away, not realising this was just the start. Reggie just laughed harder, not letting my rejection stop him at all. The bar was alive with loud music and laughter, wrapping around us like a warm blanket. Kater clinked glasses with Eugen, their quiet connection obvious to anyone looking. Reggie poked my shoulder again, his playful grin impossible to stay mad at. I sighed dramatically, but I couldn't hide the smile tugging at my lips. The dance floor was packed, bodies moving to the thumping bass of the music. Eugen pulled out his phone, capturing our silly moments like it was a precious memory. Then suddenly, Reggie leaned in close, his playful energy shifting into something else. My breath caught in my throat, unsure what he was doing, but I didn't push him away. Kater and Eugen didn't look surprised, like they'd been waiting for this moment. He whispered something in my ear, his voice low, and sending a shiver down my spine. The noise of the bar faded into the background, leaving only him and me in that moment. I hesitated for a second, then placed my hand on his back, giving in to the moment. Kater and Eugen cheered quietly, raising their glasses in a silent toast to us. We stared at each other, and for the first time, I saw the softer side of Reggie. All the walls I'd built up started to crumble, one quiet moment at a time. As the bar started to empty, we stayed there, neither of us ready to let this moment end. I followed Reggie out of the bar that freezing night, never guessing this quiet moment would shift everything. The cold bit through my leather jacket, but I didn't care. All I could focus on was him. His breath curled into white clouds in the frigid air, and I realised he wasn't wearing a coat. I watched his shoulders shake with the cold, a sudden fierce urge to protect him flooding me. I didn't hesitate. I slipped off my thick leather jacket, ready to shield him from the cold. My fingers were numb with cold as I held out the jacket, my heart racing for no reason I could name. He stared at me for a long second before taking it, his sharp gaze softening in the dim light. He slipped the jacket on, and it swallowed his small frame. Mine had always been too big for anyone but me. Just then, the bar door swung open, and Eugen and Kater stepped out, holding hands tightly. They walked past us, laughing, and I felt a strange twist in my chest, not envy, but something else. Reggie turned back to me, a small smile tugging at his lips, and whispered, "Thank you." That's when it hit me like a truck. This wasn't just friendship. I was falling for him. I'd spent years pushing people away, building walls around my heart, but Reggie had just torn them down. He leaned back against my car, looking so warm in my jacket, and I couldn't tear my eyes away. I wanted to say something, anything, but my throat felt tight, like I'd forgotten how to speak. He kicked a small stone across the pavement, the sound echoing in the quiet parking lot, and laughed softly. For a long minute, we just stood there, not saying a word, but everything felt completely different. I knew from that moment on, nothing would ever be the same again. My heart had finally found someone to let in. The cold didn't matter anymore. All I could feel was the warm, fluttering feeling in my chest. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a cold glow over us, but I felt anything but cold. I wake up to soft morning light, my gaze immediately drifting to the person beside me. The apartment feels warm and cozy, but all I focus on is him, lost in sleep. His hair's a mess, but there's this soft smile on his face even in sleep. I reach out, my hand hovering just above his warm, soft cheek. As my fingers brush his skin, memories of the night we met flood back. That night, I was drunk, a total mess, completely lost in chaos. I never guessed he'd be the one to pick me up, to care for a wreck like me. His eyes were so gentle, like he didn't mind how much of a wreck I was. In that moment, something shifted, something I couldn't name back then. I didn't know it then, but that night would change everything for me. Back to the present, I can't help but smile at how far we've come. His favourite manga sits on the table, a small piece of him making this place home. I run my fingers through his messy hair, still shocked this is my reality. Even asleep, he looks so peaceful, like he's right where he belongs. This small apartment, with him here, feels like my entire world. I trace his cheek softly, still shocked. I fell for a guy, of all people. I never saw this coming. Me, who only dated girls, head over heels for him. But when our hands meet, I know there's no one else I'd rather be with. This is where I was meant to be, with the person who changed everything. As the morning goes on, I know this is just the start of our story. His eyelashes flutter like he's about to wake up, and my heart races a little. I pull my hand back suddenly, nervous about what he'll say when he wakes. But then I remember, this is us. We don't need perfect words, just each other. I woke up to Eugen's soft voice, gently asking me about Mimi. My mood crashed immediately, all warmth draining from my face. Eugen noticed my change, his smile dropping to show worry. I couldn't bear to look at him, guilt weighing on my chest. The room fell silent, thick with unspoken tension between us. I clenched the sheets tightly, anxiety coiling in my stomach. Eugen reached out, trying to offer me some comfort. I tensed up, pulling back slightly, not ready for his warmth. A sudden vibration broke the silence, coming from my phone. I turned to look, shock hitting me when I saw the screen. It was Mimi calling, a name I'd been dreading to see. Eugen saw my reaction, his worry mixing with confusion. I reached for the phone, my hand shaking with dread. I held the device, torn between answering and ignoring it. The air felt thick with tension, every second dragging on too long. I bit my lip, knowing I had to face this, no matter how much I feared it. Eugen placed a hand on my arm, a quiet gesture of support. My finger hovered over the answer button, my nerves stretched thin. With a heavy sigh, I steeled myself to answer the call. The room felt smaller, as if it was closing in on me with each passing second. I knew this call would change everything, but I had no choice but to answer. I sat in that quiet cafe, my throat tight, knowing I'd break her heart today. She walked in, eyes red and puffy, like she'd been crying for hours. She slid into the seat across from me, voice cracking as she said she missed me. My chest ached, hearing that, but I knew I couldn't keep lying to her. I took a deep breath, hands shaking, ready to say the words that would change everything. The second I said it, her whole face drained of colour, like all the life left her. Silence hung heavy between us, thick enough to cut with a knife. Her fingers trembled on the table, like she couldn't believe what she'd just heard. I stared at the table, unable to meet her eyes, consumed by guilt. I waited for her to yell, to cry, to say anything, but she just sat there, quiet. Finally, she opened her mouth, but no sound came out. She was too shocked. The cafe around us felt like it was closing in, every noise amplified in the silence. I sipped my cold coffee, the bitterness matching the way I felt inside. When she finally looked at me, her eyes were empty, like she didn't recognise me anymore. I knew I'd destroyed whatever was left of us, but I had to be honest for both of us. Regret flooded me, but I also felt a weird sense of relief. I wasn't lying anymore. She finally whispered something, her voice so quiet I could barely hear it. A single tear rolled down her cheek, and I wanted to take it all back, but I couldn't. I reached out to touch her hand, but she pulled away, flinching like I'd burned her. That was the moment I knew we'd never go back to how things were, no matter what. I could see the shattering in her eyes, and it felt like a knife twisting in my chest. A server walked by, their footsteps loud enough to cut through the thick silence. I tapped my fingers on the table, trying to steady my racing heart. She grabbed her bag, her movements stiff, like every hurt filled her bones. As she walked out, I sat there alone, wondering if I'd made the right choice. I knew this moment would come, but nothing prepared me for her raw rage. Every eye in the cafe locked on us, every whisper cutting like a knife. I said nothing, letting her accusations burn through me. Her fist slammed the table, the sound echoing through the dead silence. Then her anger shattered into tears, and she ran out without looking back. I sat there for a long time, the weight of her words crushing me. The barista offered me a tissue, a quiet look of pity in her eyes. I gathered my things, my hands shaking too much to hold them steady. I hesitated before opening the door, dreading what I might see outside. The afternoon sun blinded me for a second, and then I saw him. Eugen was standing there, his eyes red like he'd been crying for hours. My throat tightened. He'd heard every single cruel word. He walked toward me slowly, like every step hurt him more. He touched my cheek, and I flinched, waiting for his anger. But he didn't yell. He just looked at me, and I saw only pain. He opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. A wind blew through the street, carrying the faint smell of coffee behind us. I grabbed his hand, clinging to him like he was my lifeline. He gave me a small wobbly smile, and I knew we'd get through this. We walked away together, one slow step at a time, toward whatever came next. My heart felt heavy as I walked toward Eugen, every step weighed down by guilt. The parking lot felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath for what would happen next. His eyes were red, tear tracks glistening. He'd clearly been crying. I reached out, Desperate to hold him, to make this right, I pulled him into my arms, holding him like I might lose him if I let go. I whispered apologies into his ear, my voice shaking with regret. His hand rested on my back, trembling like he was still scared. He didn't push me away. Instead, he leaned into me like he needed this hug as much as I did. I ran my hand through his hair, trying to soothe the hurt I'd caused. We stood there, holding each other, like the world outside didn't exist. His voice was quiet when he spoke, breaking the silence between us. I froze when I heard his words. I'd expected anger, not this fear. I looked him in the eye, my voice steady as I made a promise I'd never break. I laced our fingers together, letting him feel how serious I was. He hesitated, his expression flickering with something I couldn't quite place. Then he asked the question that made my heart skip a beat about moving in together. I stared at him, my mind going completely blank. I hadn't expected this. The world seemed to stand still as I processed what he'd just said. Slowly, a smile spread across my face. This was what I'd wanted all along. I nodded so hard my head hurt. Yes, I said. Absolutely yes. The morning sun filtered in as I started packing up the life I'd outgrown. Every corner held memories, but I was ready to leave them behind. Kato showed up right on time, already reaching for my manga boxes. He teased me about hoarding too many, but his smile gave him away. We worked in silence, but every small gesture felt like a promise. I paused, glancing at the empty shelf where my favourite manga sat for years. This was my first home alone, but it was time to move forward. Before I could turn, warm arms wrapped around my waist from behind. His lips brushed my neck, sending a shiver down my spine. I laughed, leaning back into his chest, finally letting my guard down. I told him I was ready for our new life together. We dragged the last suitcase out, locking the door on my old life. The morning air felt fresh, like it was carrying us toward something better. Kato held the car door open for me, his grin brighter than the sun. As I settled into the passenger seat, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Before we pulled away, he laced his fingers through mine, holding on tight. The car pulled forward, and I didn't look back once. I stared out the window, my heart racing with excitement for what was next. With Kato beside me, I knew no matter where we went, it would be home. This wasn't just a move, it was the start of our forever. I pulled out my phone, staring at the photo we took last week, feeling so lucky. He caught me staring, squeezing my hand like he could read my mind. Standing in our brand new apartment, my heart was pounding with pure excitement. It was empty, but every corner already felt like home. Yujin's eyes lit up, he already had plans for his manga collection. I couldn't hold back, I pulled him close, my heart overflowing with love. Kissing him, I knew this was exactly where we belonged. He clutched his favourite manga, already imagining it on a perfect shelf. Unpacking together, every box felt like a piece of our bright future. Yujin's silly ideas made me laugh. I'd follow him anywhere. We found the perfect spot, a whole wall just for his beloved manga. Planning our little space together felt like the best adventure. Then Yujin went quiet. I could see the worry in his eyes. He stared at me like he had something important to say. I took his hand, ready to listen to whatever was on his mind. His fingers twisted, his shirt, he was clearly nervous about something. We sat on a pile of boxes, the air thick with unspoken words. I could see the hesitation in his eyes, and my heart ached for him. I brushed his hair back, letting him know I'd wait as long as he needed. His lips trembled, like he was gathering the courage to speak up. I leaned in, giving him all my attention, ready to hear his truth. The sun set behind us, painting the moment in warm, golden light. Finally, he spoke, his voice soft but filled with meaning. I squeezed his hand, nodding whatever it was, we'd face it together. Holding him close, I knew we'd build something perfect here, together. That quiet night in our new apartment, tension hung so thick you could cut it. We sat on the couch, but it felt like a whole ocean lay between us. I could see his hands shaking, like he was fighting just to speak. When he finally looked at me, I knew what he was going to ask. The question hung in the air, and I froze, not knowing how to answer. I wanted to tell him the truth, but words felt stuck in my throat. I was scared of hurting him, scared of what he meant to me. His voice was soft when he asked, but it hit me like a punch. I couldn't look at him. How do you tell someone you're scared of closeness? The silence stretched on, and I thought my chest would split open. I could see the hurt in his eyes, and I hated myself for being the cause. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. I was just stuck. What if I wasn't ready for this? What if I never would be? Then the doorbell rang, loud, sharp, breaking our trapped spell. I almost sighed in relief. Finally, an excuse to escape this conversation. I jumped up so fast my head spun, rushing to the door like it was a lifeline. My hands shook as I grabbed the doorknob, wondering who'd visit at this hour. When I opened the door, I froze again. It was Isuke. Why was he here? He had that cocky grin, like he had no idea what he'd walked in on. I didn't know whether to yell or thank him. Either way, our moment was broken. I glanced back at Yujin, and his face told me he knew I was running away. Isuke held up a bottle of whiskey, like that could fix everything. I stepped aside to let him in, knowing this only put off the inevitable. Just as Yujin and I settled in, that annoying guy Isuke showed up with whiskey. Yujin lit up instantly, rushing to greet him like he was his long-lost buddy. Me? I just stood there, glaring jealousy burning in my chest for no damn reason. He strolled in like he owned the place, that cocky smirk still glued to his face. Before I could protest, he was already making himself comfortable on our couch. He started teasing me, immediately making jabs about how smitten I looked. I rolled my eyes so hard I almost saw the back of my skull, but I wasn't really mad. We clinked our glasses, the sound cutting through the tense little bubble I'd built. The whiskey burned going down, but it helped take the edge off my jealousy. Then he started telling stories, the embarrassing ones I tried to forget. Eugene ate it up, laughing so hard, his eyes crinkled shut. He exaggerated every detail, making the story sound even dumber than it was. Eugene laughed until he cried, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. For a second, I forgot to be jealous. It was nice to see Eugene this happy. Then Aisuke leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper right by Eugene's ear. I couldn't hear what he said, but the way he grinned told me it was trouble. I tensed up my grip on my glass tightening. What was he plotting now? My knuckles went white, jealousy and suspicion twisting together in my gut. I stared at them, trying to read their faces, but Eugene just looked confused. Aisuke just winked at me like he knew exactly what I was thinking. Eugene just blinked, looking like he had no clue what the hell was going on. I knew he was up to something, and I was going to find out what it was. I couldn't believe my eyes. Aisuke was leaning in to kiss. Eugene! My blood boiled. How dare he joke about something so serious? He was so close, I thought he'd actually follow through. I shot up from the couch, ready to confront him, but Eugene laughed and pulled Aisuke back before I could react. His grip was firm, but there was no anger in his touch. Aisuke threw his hands up, grinning like he'd just won a game. I just stared at him, my cheeks burning with frustration. I plopped back onto the couch, still seething inside. Aisuke just kept smiling, like he knew something I didn't. He turned and started walking toward the door, still grinning. Then he looked back and winked like he was letting me in on a secret. My anger faded, replaced by confusion. What was he playing at? Finally, smiled at me like he understood exactly what I was thinking of meaning. That's when it hit me. He wasn't just teasing me. He was trying to push me to face my fears in his own stupid way. The room went quiet, and I finally let my guard down. My hands stopped shaking, and I felt a weight lift off my chest. Eugene patted my shoulder like he knew I needed that little push. I still had a long way to go, but for the first time, I felt ready to try. That soft look in his eyes. I knew I couldn't keep hiding anymore. My throat felt tight as I stared at the man I loved more than anything. I was terrified of what he'd think, terrified of breaking his heart. I took a shaky breath and let the words spill out. I told him I was scared of being intimate with a guy, scared I'd hurt him. Instead of pulling away, he just wrapped his fingers around mine. His voice was gentle when he spoke, like he wasn't upset at all. He said he could wait as long as he got to be with me. The weight in my chest lifted, like I could finally breathe again. We curled up in bed, the silence finally feeling safe, not heavy. I thought he was already asleep until he whispered something. A few quiet words that made my heart feel like it would burst. He said he loved me like it was the easiest thing in the world. I squeezed his hand, too choked up to say it back right then, but I knew he could feel it in every beat of my heart. Even Kuro seemed to sense the calm, curled up quietly at our feet. For the first time in forever, I didn't feel scared when I closed my eyes. The clock ticked softly, marking the start of something new. A future where I didn't have to hide, where I could just be me. With him by my side, I knew everything would be okay. That night, I finally let myself believe in happiness again. No more secrets, no more fear, just us, and the quiet promise of tomorrow. Today, Eugene and I escaped to the park, and for once, nothing felt wrong. I brought bread to feed the ducks, just like we used to dream about late at night. Eugene held a piece out, slowly, his eyes soft with that quiet warmth I love. Then a boiled duck lunged straight for his hand fast as lightning. Eugene burst into laughter, loud and bright, like all his worries just melted away. I swear, that laugh could light up even the darkest, loneliest days. I fumbled for my phone. I had to capture this moment, keep it forever. The screen lit up with his face, and my chest felt full to bursting. The sun was shining so bright, it felt like the world was just for us. I leaned over, resting my hand on his shoulder, and he didn't pull away. Eugene held out the last crumbs, and the ducks swarmed us like little beggars. Even the ducks seemed to love him, they'd follow him anywhere. A duck snapped the last crumb, and Eugene laughed again, that bright, warm sound. The sun started to dip low, painting the sky in pink and tangerine hues. I still have fears, dark ones, that wake me screaming at night, but when I'm with Eugene, I feel like I can face anything, even the dark. He laced our fingers together, and suddenly, nothing felt impossible. The ducks finally wandered off, leaving us in quiet, warm peace. We stood up, hand in hand, ready to go home, ready for whatever comes next. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly, completely happy. I'll keep this photo forever, a reminder of how bright life can be. I leaned my head on his shoulder, and I knew this was where I belonged. No matter what comes next, I know we'll face it together. We laced our fingers together, every dark fear feels small, nothing felt manageable. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know I want it to be with him. I lie awake beside Eugene, my heart heavy with a secret I can't keep hidden any longer. He sleeps so peacefully, unaware of the war waging in my mind. I reach out, my fingers trembling as I brush his soft cheek. A jolt runs through me when his lashes flutter, but he doesn't wake. The room feels so small, like it's closing in on all my unspoken fears. Aisuke's teasing voice echoes in my head. He was right. I've been a coward. I've been running from this truth for too long, letting fear control me. But not anymore. I have to tell him, no matter how scared I am. I lean over, my heart pounding so loud, I swear it'll wake him. My lips brush his forehead, a silent promise I intend to keep. I pull back, watching him sleep, my resolve stronger than ever before. He looks so peaceful, so perfect. I don't want to shatter that, but I have to. He deserves to know how truly, deeply I love him. Tomorrow, I'll finally say the words that have burned in my throat for months. I settle back beside him, counting the minutes until dawn. I brush a strand of hair from his face, memorizing every curve of his features. How did I get so lucky to have someone like him in my life? I lace our fingers together, letting his steady calm ground me. I close my eyes, whispering a promise to myself and to him. Tomorrow will be the day I stop hiding and start living the truth. Even in the quiet, his presence surrounds me, a reminder of why I must be brave. This chain was always a shield, but tomorrow I'll finally let it fall away. I rest my hand on his shoulder, a silent I'm here, he can't yet hear. The ceiling feels so far away, but my resolve feels closer than ever. As the light fades, I know tomorrow will change everything for the better. Waking up next to Eugen felt like living in a warm, perfect dream. His messy hair stuck up everywhere, yet he still smiled in his deep sleep. I couldn't stop staring. He looked so peaceful, so utterly perfect. I leaned in, my heart pounding faster than ever before. I pressed my lips to his, soft and gentle, scared to break this moment. His eyes fluttered open, and that smile made my heart skip a beat. He looked at me like I was the only person that mattered. I had to say it, the words I'd held back for so long. Eugen, I love you. My voice shook, but I meant every single word. He laughed softly, warm and bright, and my whole body relaxed. And then he said it back. I love you too, Kater. We kissed again, slower this time, like we had all the time in the world. I laced our fingers together, never wanting to let go again. I lay down next to him, pulling him close against my chest. Sunlight streamed through the window, wrapping us in a warm golden glow. He rested his head on my chest, his steady heartbeat calming me. In that moment, everything felt right, like we were always meant to be here. I knew this was the start of something beautiful for us. The world outside could wait right then. Only us mattered. I couldn't wait to see what our future would hold together. I brushed a strand of hair from his face, touched soft and careful. His eyes locked with mine, and I saw nothing but love in them. Our hands stayed laced together, resting over my beating heart. A warm smile spread across my face, full of pure joy. The room was filled with light, and everything felt completely perfect. Walking hand in hand with Eugen at the mall, I thought this would be just another perfect afternoon. The mall was bustling with people, but all I could focus on was his warm hand in mine. Then, suddenly, Eugen froze. His eyes were sparkling like he'd found his favourite treasure. He tugged my arm gently, practically dragging me toward that tiny manga store. I didn't mind at all. Seeing him this happy made every second feel worth it. The store was small, but every shelf was filled with the manga he loved so much. He immediately pointed to a tattered volume, his voice full of excitement as he talked about it. I didn't understand half the words he said, but I loved listening to him ramble. He held the book out to me, his eyes shining like he was sharing a precious secret. We spent what felt like hours there, flipping through book after book. In the end, he picked out 3 books, his arms full of his favourite stories. I offered to carry one for him, and he smiled so wide I thought his face would split. He paid for them himself, insisting this was his treat for our little date. We walked out of the store, our hands brushing as we carried our new treasures. I was still floating on cloud 9, thinking about how perfect this day had been. That's when I felt it, a cold, sharp gaze cutting through the warmth. I turned my head slowly, dreading what I might see on the other side of the street. It was Mimi. She was standing there, her eyes locked right on us, no emotion on her face. Her stare was so intense, I felt like I could freeze where I stood. I didn't know what she wanted, but I squeezed Eugen's hand tighter, to know, silently telling him I was here, I wouldn't let anything happen. Eugen noticed my tension, his eyes filling with worry as he looked at me. We stood there close, felt like forever, holding him tight, in that trying to chase away all the fear he was feeling. Finally, she turned loudly on the asphalt, her figure disappeared into the crowd without a word on us. I leaned out of breath, I didn't know I was holding my shoulders relaxing slightly. We walked away hand in hand, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the last we'd see of her. I thought we'd escaped the chaos, but Mimi was marching straight for us, fire in her eyes. Eugen's hand tightened around mine so hard I could feel his panic seeping in. I could see the fear in his eyes. He was terrified she'd drive us apart for good. Her heels clicked loudly on the asphalt, each step a sharp threat closing in on us. I stepped in front of Eugen, determined to shield him from every cruel word she had left. She screamed at me, hurling accusations like she was trying to tear my world apart. I didn't flinch. I looked her straight in the eye and said it. I loved Eugen, and I wasn't leaving. For the first time in months, I had no doubt this was where I was meant to be with him. Her face twisted with rage, and before I could blink, her hand was flying toward my face. The slap echoed through the lot, stinging so bad my ears rang, but I didn't look away. Eugen gasped, his eyes filling with tears, reaching out to make sure I was okay. I stood my ground, even as my cheek throbbed. I wouldn't let her break us apart, not now. She stared at me, tears mixing with her fury, and spat out words that made my heart sink. You'll regret this, Kater, she snarled. You'll regret choosing him over me. She stormed away, leaving us standing in the quiet lot, my cheek still burning with her slap. I pulled Eugen close, holding him tight, trying to chase away all the fear he was feeling. He buried his face in my chest, and I promised him I'd never let anyone hurt him again. The sun was setting, painting the sky pink and orange, and for a second, all the hurt felt far away. When he looked up, there was fear still, but also trust that we'd get through this together. We walked away hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next, as long as we were together. I stumbled back to our apartment, my stinging cheek hidden in my palm. Eugen was right behind me, his steps quiet, with unspoken worry. He reached for my face, his fingers soft against my heated, stinging skin. I pulled him close, needing his warmth more than any empty reassurance. I mumbled that I was okay, even though my chest still ached with frustration. But he saw right through me. His eyes held all the worry I tried to hide. He whispered he was scared Mimi wouldn't stop, that she'd hurt me again. Just then, the phone blared, slicing through the tense quiet. Neither of us moved to answer it. We both knew who was calling. I didn't want to hear her voice, not after what she'd done at the parking lot. We settled onto the couch, trying to find some peace amid the chaos. Eugene laced his fingers through mine, a silent promise to stay by my side. Before we could relax, the doorbell rang, sharp and insistent. My stomach dropped. I knew exactly who was on the other side of that door. Eugene tensed beside me, his grip on my hand tightening even more. We sat in silence, listening to her knock again, louder this time. I didn't know what to do. Confront her or pretend we weren't home? Eugene squeezed my hand, as if telling me we'd face this together, no matter what. The doorbell rang again, more urgent, like she knew we were hiding inside. We locked eyes, knowing we couldn't hide forever from this mess. I swung the door open, ready to snap at whoever dared disturb us. But when I saw Mimi, tears streaming down her face, my anger faded fast. I froze, completely caught off guard by her sudden appearance. She mumbled apologies, begging just 5 minutes to talk. Against my better judgment, I stepped aside and let her in. She sat on the couch, sniffling, her usual confidence nowhere to be seen. I crossed my arms, waiting for her to get to the point. Then she said the last thing I expected to hear. She said she accepted that I loved Eugene, truly and completely. Her voice was soft, no trace of the anger I'd feared. She didn't want to fight anymore, she just wanted to be friends. I stared at her, shocked that she could be so understanding. I sat down across from her, finally letting my guard drop a little. I still wasn't sure if I could trust her completely, but when she smiled at me, I could see she meant every word. After a few more quiet words, she stood up to go. As she opened the door, she turned back and gave me a genuine smile. For the first time in months, I didn't feel tense around her. I knew then that her apology was real, no tricks attached. As the door clicked shut, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I walked toward our bedroom, ready to tell Eugene what happened. I couldn't wait to share this small win with him. When Eugene looked up at me, his smile made everything feel right. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly at peace. He squeezed my hand, silently asking what had happened. Tonight was supposed to be a movie night with Eugene, but my eyes were only on him. He leaned into me like he belonged there, and in that moment, he really did. The movie played on, but I didn't care. All I could see was him, soft and warm, his lashes fluttered, then stilled. He'd fallen asleep, right there against me. The glow from the TV painted our faces, and I felt a warmth I'd never known before. I brushed a strand of hair from his face, my hand trembling just a little. I moved slowly, carefully, not wanting to wake him. With one arm under his back and the other under his legs, I lifted him into my arms. The walk to the bedroom felt like forever, every step careful not to jostle him. Standing beside the bed, I stared down at his sleeping face, so peaceful and soft. I laid him down gently, adjusting the pillow under his head. I pulled the blanket up to his chest, tucking it in like he was the most precious thing in the world. I leaned down and kissed his forehead, a silent promise passing between us. I turned to leave, but paused, looking back at him one more time. He looked so small, so safe in our bed, and my heart felt full to bursting. I took a deep breath, trying to steady the emotions swirling inside me. I turned off the TV, the room falling quiet except for the sound of our breathing. I climbed into bed beside him, my eyes fixed on his sleeping face. I settled in close, wanting to feel his warmth against my skin. As I lay there, I made a promise to myself never ever to let him down. I'd been scared so many times before, but now I knew I'd face anything for him. His breath was steady, his chest rising and falling gently, and I felt completely at peace. I wake up groggy, my eyes immediately locking on the warm figure beside me. He's sleeping like an angel, even with his hair sticking up everywhere. I can't help but stare, he looks so peaceful like this. That small smile, it still makes my heart race after all this time. I reach out, my hand hovering just above his warm cheek. When my skin touches his, memories come flooding back. The night we met, I was wasted, and he carried me home without a second thought. His grip was firm but gentle, like he knew I needed it. I didn't know it then, but that night changed everything. I'm pulled back to the present by a soft stir beside me. His eyelids flutter, he's waking up. He blinks awake, and that same smile lights up his face. His eyes are warm, like he has something to ask. I raise an eyebrow, waiting for him to speak. Then he says it so softly, I almost miss it. Can we get a cat? Those 4 words take me by surprise. I stare at him, shocked, then burst into laughter. I ruffle his already messy hair, my heart feeling full. He blushes, laughing and swatting my hand away playfully. As we lie there, I know this is exactly where I want to be forever. Our hands interlock, and I make a silent promise to myself. The manga on the nightstand reminds me of how far we've come. I never thought a trip to an animal shelter would change our lives so much. Rows of cages, curious eyes watching us, this place felt full of quiet hope. Eugene's face lit up the second we stepped inside. He's always loved cats. We walked slowly, letting him stop at every cage that caught his eye. I just stood back, watching him soak in every moment. He deserved this joy. Then a tiny black cat slipped out. It walked straight to Eugene, rubbing against his leg. He froze for a second, then knelt down, his eyes shining like stars. The cat nuzzled his hand, and Eugene's smile grew so wide it made my heart ache. He picked it up, holding it like it was the most precious thing in the world. "I'm in love with him," he whispered. I knew exactly what he meant. I didn't need to say anything. I just nodded. This was meant to be. We filled out the paperwork, our hands both shaking a little with excitement. Eugen's signature was steady, like he knew this was the right choice all along. The staff handed us a carrier, and we carefully placed our new friend inside. We stood outside, hands clasped, ready to take our new family member home. His hand in mine felt warmer than ever. This was just the start. We named him Kuro. It means black perfect for our little shadow. A tiny paw poked through the mesh like he was already saying hello to the world. Every step felt lighter, like we were carrying a little piece of sunshine with us. As we opened the car door, I knew our quiet life was about to get a whole lot brighter. I could feel his excitement radiating through his fingertips. He couldn't wait to get home. Kuro settled in quickly, like he already knew this was his new safe space. We looked at each other, and for a second, nothing else mattered, just us and Kuro. As we drove away, the shelter faded from view, but our new future was just beginning. His hand on mine, Kuro purring in the back. This was the happiness I'd been waiting for. When we moved into our new apartment, Kuro couldn't wait to explore every corner. Eugen sat on the couch, watching our little explorer with that soft smile of his. I pulled out my phone, ready to capture this perfect quiet moment forever. Kuro darted toward the couch, his tiny paws pattering like little drums. He leaped onto Eugen's lap, curling up into a tiny black ball of fur. Eugen's gentle fingers brushed through Kuro's fur, making him purr loudly. I walked over to them, my heart feeling lighter than it had in years. I sat down beside him, naturally wrapping my arm around his waist. For a second, everything felt still, like the whole world slowed down for us. Eugen turned to me, his eyes crinkling with that smile I adored. I laced my fingers through his, and he squeezed back, warm and steady. Our apartment held all we loved, stacks of manga, cozy blankets, our little family. Kuro let out a tiny yawn, as if he knew this moment was special. I rested my head on his shoulder, breathing in his familiar shampoo scent. That's when it hit me. I wasn't scared of being with a guy at all. I was just happy to be with him, exactly who he was. All the fear, all the doubt, it felt like it was finally fading away. We had each other, we had Kuro, we had this perfect little life. Kuro purred softly, as if he felt the same peace we did. In that moment, I knew this was exactly where I belonged. I snapped one last photo, so I'd never forget how this felt. The sun was setting outside, painting the sky in warm oranges and pinks. Eugen stroked Kuro's head, whispering something soft only he could hear. I leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his forehead, just because I could. This was home, not just the apartment, but being with him always. Night wraps around us, and I lie here with Eugen and Kuro, finally feeling whole. This quiet bedroom, with Kuro curled between us, is my entire world right now. Kuro's soft purring fills the room, a steady, comforting hum. I turn my gaze to Eugen, his face relaxed in sleep, so peaceful. For the first time in so long, I don't feel like I'm hiding anymore. I brush a strand of hair from his face, my fingers trembling slightly. His skin is warm under my touch, and all my fears start to fade away. Eugen stirs slightly, but doesn't wake, a small smile on his face. The room feels warm and safe, like nothing can hurt us here. I lean in, my lips hovering just above his forehead. I press a soft kiss there, a promise to keep him safe forever. I take his hand in mine, lacing our fingers together like we'll never let go. His hand fits in mine perfectly, like it was made just for me. That small smile on his face, it's the reason I keep going, the reason I fight. We lie there, hands clasped, Kuro between us, and I feel like I'm home. I close my eyes, letting the quiet and warmth wash over me completely. All my fears, all my doubts, they seem so small right now, irrelevant. I whisper a promise to myself to love him for the rest of my life. The night stretches on, but I don't care as long as I'm with them. This is where I belong, with Eugen and Kuro, forever and always. Even Kuro seems to know how much this moment means to me. I stroke his hair slowly, savoring every second we have together. His eyelashes flutter, but he stays asleep, lost in peaceful dreams. I pull him closer, holding him gently, like he might disappear. In this moment, nothing else matters, only him and Kuro and us. Reiji's cheeks were pink from beer, laughing like nothing else mattered. We were on my couch, beer in hand, the air warmer than ever before. My hand tightened around my beer, my heart racing like it wanted to escape. He raised his glass, still laughing, and I couldn't tear my eyes away. I couldn't believe this, feeling warm, scary, like I'd been hit by a truck. I stared at him, my eyes softening. This wasn't just friendship anymore, was it? Reiji leaned in, and my breath caught. What was he about to do? His face was so close I could smell beer on his breath. My mind went blank. The room felt too small, too warm. Every sound felt amplified. A small smile tugged at my lips. I wanted this, whatever this was. The beer foam fizzed slowly, but I didn't care about the drink anymore. My shoulders tensed. I was scared, but more scared of him pulling away. His hand rested beside me, so close I could almost feel its warmth. Our breaths mingled in the air. Time felt like it had stopped entirely. I didn't want this moment to end. Not ever, not for anything. Reiji smiled, and I thought my heart would burst right out of my chest. His eyes were soft, like he knew every messy thought in my head. My heart thudded loud enough for me to hear it over everything else. This was my normal couch, my normal beer, but nothing felt normal now. I waited, breath held. Was he really going to kiss me right now? I never saw this coming. Warm lips closing in on mine, my brain going completely blank. My eyes flew wide in shock. This was the last thing I expected from Reggie. My heart slammed against my ribs. I'd waited for this for so long, but never dared hope. Before I could overthink it, my hand found his cheek, leaning into the kiss. His arms wrapped tight around me, and I felt like I was burning from the inside out. His fingers brushed my cheek, gentle and warm, like he was handling something precious. I dreamed of this moment 1,000 times, but nothing compared to the real thing. My throat felt tight, words were stuck, but my body spoke for me. He pulled back slightly, his eyes soft, and I held my breath for what he'd say next. A quiet, warm whisper filled the air. I love you, Isuke. My world stopped. My lips trembled as I forced the words out, my voice cracking. I love you too. We clung to each other like we'd disappear if we let go, all the tension melting away. He settled back against the couch, looking up at me with those bright, playful eyes. There was no teasing this time, just softness and something I'd always hoped for. Then he said it, the question I never dared to ask. Want to move in with me? My eyes widened again. This was better than any dream I'd ever had. I leaned down, my hand resting on his shoulder, my heart pounding in my ears. One word escaped my lips, soft but sure, yes. We curled up together on the couch, and for the first time in forever, I felt home. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew I wanted it to be with him. I blink awake, the first thing I see is the soft light on Reggie's face. His hair sticking up in all directions, but he's smiling even in his sleep. That lip piercing used to drive me crazy with pure annoyance. He'd steal fries from my tray just to get a rise out of me back then. But now, I can't imagine a single day without him in my life. I reach out slowly, my fingers hovering just above his warm cheek. His skin is soft under my touch, just like I remembered that first night. He makes silly faces just to annoy me, and it always worked. Now, every little quirk of his feels like a precious gift. His eyelashes flutter, and my heart skips a beat. He's waking up. He blinks up at me, that familiar playful glint back in his eyes. I can't help but smile back, my heart feeling so full it might burst. For a quiet moment, we just stare at each other, no words needed. I lace our fingers together, his hand fitting perfectly in mine. All those years of hating him, I feel like a distant, silly memory now. I lean in slowly, my eyes fixed on his soft, familiar lips. Our lips meet, gentle and warm, like we've done this 1,000 times before. In this quiet morning, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. His hand rests on my back, warm and steady, like he'll never let go. Our hands stay laced tight, a silent promise between just us two. I never thought I'd find such peace with the person I once hated most. The dust dances in the sunlight, and time feels like it stopped just for us. Today's the day we move out. My quiet apartment's about to get a whole lot louder. We've been packing all afternoon, turning my space into a maze of cardboard boxes. Reggie won't stop teasing me about my dusty book collection like his streetwear's any less chaotic. I roll my eyes so hard I see stars, but I can't stop smiling. He's impossible to stay mad at. We haul the last of our stuff out, my apartment feeling emptier with every step. Reggie slams the trunk shut like he's starring in some action movie. Drama queen. I grab his hand before we get in, suddenly scared this is all a dream. His hand is warm in mine, a reminder that this is real, this is happening. We slide into the car, and I start the engine. My hand's a little shaky. We pull out of the parking lot, my old apartment getting smaller in the rear view. Then Reggie starts belting off key to old pop songs. I can't help but laugh. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel guarded, I feel free. He's so loud, so unapologetically himself, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The sun's setting as we drive, painting the sky in pink and orange. Reggie puts his hand on mine, and I know my life's never going to be the same. I glance over at him, and my chest feels so full it might burst. We're heading toward something new, something ours. No more hiding, no more walls. His laugh fills the car, and I realise this is what happiness feels like. Eventually he tires out, leaning his head on my shoulder. The car goes quiet, except for the radio. As the sky turns dark, I know this is just the beginning of our story. No more holding back, no more secrets. Just me, Reggie, and the open road ahead. He's asleep now, but I can still feel his warmth through my jacket. This bond we've built, it's unbreakable. It's ours. We're driving toward tomorrow, and for the first time, I can't wait to see what it holds. My life's never felt more complete. This is where I'm meant to be. Standing at our new apartment door, my heart thrums with all the possibilities ahead. The place is empty now, but soon it'll hold all our little warm memories. Reggie's practically bouncing. He's waited months for this moment. I can't hold back. I pull him close, ready to kiss that excited smile off his face. The kiss lingers, warm and soft, like all our waiting was finally worth it. Boxes litter the floor time to turn this empty space into home. We laugh as we dig through boxes, bickering over who gets the best mugs. Piece by piece, the apartment starts to feel like it was made for us. Reggie suddenly freezes, his playful grin fading into something serious. I read that look in his eyes, he's about to ask me something huge. The air hangs quiet, warm, with all the unspoken things between us. Outside, the city buzzes on, but in here, it's just us and our little world. He steps close, shoulder brushing mine, and I feel his nerves mixed with excitement. We stand in silence, watching the world go by, and I know this is where I belong. His eyes shine bright. He's practiced this question for weeks. I can tell. I squeeze his hand tight, silently telling him I'm ready for whatever he has to say. A small smile tugs at his lips, and my heart flutters like it's the first time. The apartment's half unpacked, but it already feels like the safest place on earth. He opens his mouth, then closes it again, nerves getting the better of him. I smile and nod, telling him it's okay, take all the time he needs. He takes a deep breath, shoulders squared, and I hold my breath waiting. The words, are on his tongue, and my heart's pounding in my ears. I never saw this coming, not in a million wildest dreams. One quiet night in our new apartment, everything shifted in an instant. Reggie stood up, his expression softer than I'd ever witnessed before. He sank down on one knee, and my breath caught in my throat completely. I stared, my mind going completely blank, unable to process what was happening. When he pulled out that small black box, my vision blurred with unshed tears. Tears pricked at my eyes, hot and unexpected, as I waited for his words. He spoke softly, words that would stay etched in my heart forever. He said he loved me deeply, truly, and wanted to spend forever by my side. I couldn't speak, so I just nodded, tears streaming down my face. Reggie opened the box, and the simple platinum ring glinted in the warm light. He slipped the ring onto my finger, his hands steady despite my shaking. The ring fit perfectly like it was crafted just for my finger. He stood up and pulled me into a tight embrace, holding me like I might vanish. I clung to him, finally letting myself believe this perfect moment was real. He whispered something in my ear, his voice warm and overflowing with emotion. He said he couldn't wait to marry me, to start our forever chapter together. I felt so full of love, like my heart might burst right out of my chest. In that moment, I knew I'd found my forever, right here in his arms. We stayed like that for hours, savouring every precious second of this perfect moment. Picnic days with my favourite people. This was supposed to be just another lazy afternoon. Me, Eugen, Eisuke and Reiji all squished together on a checkered blanket. Reiji was roasting Eisuke as usual, his signature grin never fading. Eisuke rolled his eyes, but I caught the smile tugging at his lips. The sun was warm, ducks quacked nearby, and everything felt perfect. Eugen was busy spoiling Kuro, who was passed out on his lap. We joked, we ate, we forgot about the stress of daily life. Then Eisuke went quiet, and the mood shifted instantly. He looked at Reiji and said the words none of us expected. We're getting married. Reiji's cheeks flushed bright pink, but he was grinning from ear to ear. Eugen screamed so loud, even the ducks flew away. I couldn't stop cheering. My best friends were finally tying the knot. We all piled into a messy group hug, laughing and crying a little. Eisuke held Reiji's hand tight, like he never wanted to let go. The sun started to set, painting the sky in pink and orange. Eugen pulled out his phone, determined to capture this moment forever. We squeezed together, grinning like idiots, as he snapped the photo. Kuro finally woke up. Annoyed, but we didn't care. Eisuke handed Reiji a piece of fried chicken, soft for once. We settled back down, but nothing felt the same this day was unforgettable. We cheered and pulled Eisuke and Reiji into a hug. Reiji's face burned bright red with shyness. In that tight embrace, all the years of unspoken feelings finally felt like they belonged. Eisuke laughed, lacing his fingers with Reiji's like he'd never let go again. We settled back onto the blanket, and the conversation turned to the wedding we'd all waited for. The sun warmed our skin, and for the first time, everything felt perfectly right in the world. Then Eugen lit up, leaning forward. What if we had a beach wedding? Sun, sand, and the ocean. Eisuke didn't hesitate. He grinned and nodded, like it was the most obvious choice ever. Reiji stared at his lap, but he nodded too, his ears still pink with embarrassment. I looked at Eugen, my heart flipping. There was no more perfect setting than a sunlit beach. We all agreed instantly their wedding had to be on a beach, bathed in sunlight. As we packed up, my mind wandered to a future I'd never dared to imagine before. Eugen carefully tucked his favourite manga into his bag, like protecting a piece of his soul. Eisuke helped Reiji with his jacket, and they shared a look that said more than words. I watched Eugen, and suddenly that distant future felt closer than ever before. We grabbed our things and walked toward the exit, the day's warmth still clinging to our skin. Eugen laced his fingers through mine, and I held on like I never wanted to let go. As we walked, I realised something I'd been too scared to admit for months. I didn't just want to attend their wedding, I wanted that future with Eugen too. The sun set in pink and orange hues, and for the first time, I felt brave enough to hope. I squeezed his hand tighter, silently promising to give him that beach wedding one day. Up ahead, Eisuke had his arm around Reiji, who was still blushing but smiling softly. I carried a small box in my pocket for weeks, waiting for the right moment to give it to him. Eugen turned and winked at me, and my heart felt like it would burst out of my chest. We reached the street, knowing it was time to part, but none of us wanted the day to end. Eisuke and Reiji hugged us tight, and Reiji whispered, "Thanks for being here for us." I've hidden this little box for weeks, waiting for the right second. The room's quiet, just Eugen's soft breathing and Kuro's purrs. He looks so peaceful asleep, but my heart's hammering in my chest. I move slow, scared I'll jostle him awake too soon. The bed dips and Kuro stirs, but Eugen doesn't wake. My thumb rubs the box's edge, my palms soaked with sweat. I lean in, whispering his name, heart stuck in my throat. His eyes flutter open, drowsy, and I forget how to speak. I slide off the bed, kneel on the floor, and hold the box up. The room feels too quiet, like time stopped just for us. I love you more than manga, more than anything. I want forever with you. His eyes go wide, and I see tears welling up in them. He covers his mouth, shaking, and my stomach twists with worry. I pop the box open, the plain platinum ring glinting in the light. His hand trembles as he reaches out, tears streaming down his cheeks. His fingers brush the ring, and he smiles through his tears. I slip the ring on his finger, and our hands stay locked together. He rubs the ring, grinning like he can't believe it's real. He lunges into my arms, and I hold him like I'll never let go. In this quiet room, I know I've found everything I ever wanted. Our hands stay laced together, the ring a quiet promise between us. He rests his head on my shoulder, finally calm, and I breathe out. Tears stream down Eugen's face, and my breath caught this was the moment I dreamed of. I held the ring box so tight, my knuckles whitened, waiting for his answer. Yes, he sobbed, and every weight lifted from my shoulders in that instant. My fingers shook as I slipped the ring onto his finger, the metal cool against his skin. We clung to each other like we'd never let go, all my worries melting away. He kissed me gently, and I knew I was the luckiest person alive in that second. Our foreheads pressed together, and I could hear both our hearts beating wildly. A loud meow broke the silence. Kuro had woken up, like he was celebrating with us. He trotted over to us, his tiny paws padding across the sheets, and purred loudly. I scratched his head, and he purred even louder, as if approving of our moment. We settled into the bed, Kuro curling up between us like he owned the place. He leaned close to my ear, his voice soft and warm against my skin. "I can't wait to marry you," he whispered, and my heart felt like it would burst. I pulled him closer, whispering back that I couldn't wait either. Our hands laced together, the ring glinting softly in the dim light. For the first time in forever, I felt completely at peace, like I was exactly where I belonged. The clock ticked softly in the dark, marking the start of our forever together. As I drifted off to sleep, I knew every moment of waiting had been worth it. Even Kuro seemed content, curled up between us like our tiny little witness. This was just the beginning. Our story was only going to get better from here. The ring glinted in the moonlight, a promise we'd keep for the rest of our lives. I brushed a strand of hair from his face, my heart overflowing with love. His eyelashes fluttered slightly, like he was dreaming of our future too. I snuggled closer, breathing in his familiar scent and feeling completely at home. In that quiet moment, I knew nothing could ever break us apart. The beach wedding venue glowed like a dream, covered in white blooms and warm lights. There they were, Ice K and Reiji, beaming at the altar, ready to vow forever. Yujin and I held on tight, our hearts racing as we watched their love unfold. Eisuke's scar glinted in the sun, and Reiji's smile told all we needed to know. The crowd went quiet, every soul holding its breath for their vows. Eisuke's rough hands wrapped around Reiji's, a silent promise in their grip. "I promise to love you through every storm and every sunny day," Eisuke said firmly. Reiji's eyes glistened with tears, but his grin never faltered for a second. "I'll stand by you, now and always," he whispered, loud enough for all to hear. I turned to Yujin, my heart aching with a quiet, burning wish. Yujin squeezed my hand and smiled, like he knew exactly what I was thinking. The officiant's voice rang out, making this beautiful moment official at last. Eisuke slid the ring onto Reiji's finger, a final seal on their love. Reiji did the same, and their laughter filled the beach like music. The crowd erupted into cheers, and the two men held each other tight. Yujin and I cheered until our throats hurt, tears mixing with our grins. Then Reiji tossed the bouquet, and all the single guests leaned forward. Yujin reached up, and I held my breath, hoping fate would send us a sign. The bouquet landed in Yujin's arms, and we both froze, then laughed like fools. I looked at Yujin, and I knew our turn would come sooner than we thought. I watched as Eisuke pulled Reiji close, and in that kiss, all our past tensions melted away. Cheers erupted around us, and I couldn't stop grinning as Yujin clapped along with me. Reiji's cheeks burned bright red, he was so flustered, yet he leaned into Eisuke's hold even tighter. Eisuke held him like he never wanted to let go, like Reiji was the most precious thing in the world. In that moment, the beach, the sun, all of it felt perfectly right. Then Reiji grabbed the bouquet, his hands shaking a little as he got ready to toss it. Everyone leaned forward, eyes locked on the white flowers flying through the air. And then it landed right in Yujin's outstretched hands. Yujin's eyes went wide, then he broke into the biggest smile I'd ever seen. The crowd cheered again, and I pulled Yujin close, so proud of how far we'd come. Later, we gathered to take photos, the sun setting behind us in warm pink hues. The camera clicked again and again, capturing every silly, happy moment. Then Eisuke leaned in, his voice low enough only I could hear. He said he was proud of me, that he never thought he'd see me this happy. In that moment, I knew we'd all found our happy endings. Reiji took a deep breath, his face still pink with embarrassment. The bouquet arced through the golden afternoon air, bright against the blue sky. Yujin stood up fast, his hand reaching high, his eyes focused. The flowers landed softly in his grasp, and he let out a little laugh. He held the bouquet up, cheering like he'd just won the whole world. We all laughed together, the sound mixing with the crash of the waves. Eisuke and Reiji stayed close, their fingers tangled together. Yujin laced our fingers together, the bouquet pressed against our hands. We walked over to the photographer, ready to capture this perfect day forever. The sun was almost set, painting the sky in oranges and purples as we posed. Yujin and I settled into our new apartment, ready to plan our dream wedding. We agreed from the start, no grand crowds, just our closest loved ones. His eyes lit up when he spotted the beach wedding spread. We knew that was our style. I scribbled down every detail, desperate to make this day perfect for him. We wanted something small and intimate, just like our love story. Then Yujin had the sweetest idea. He wanted Kuro to be our ring bearer. How could I say no? That little guy was already family. I could see him already imagining walking down that beach aisle. We talked for hours, mapping out every tiny detail together. Time flew by as we dreamed about our life after the wedding. By the end, our notebook was full of all our shared hopes. He even started decorating our apartment with wedding inspiration. Watching him get so excited made my heart feel completely full. Every small action felt like a promise of our perfect future. Our little apartment started to feel like a vision of our wedding day. Even Kuro seemed to approve, making himself at home on our plans. In that moment, I knew we were exactly where we were meant to be. When he turned to me, I saw all our future hopes in his eyes. We didn't need words to know we were on the same page. As night fell, I knew our future together would be absolutely perfect. I never thought a simple beach walk could feel like holding the whole world. The sun blazed overhead, waves crashing like a gentle heartbeat beside us. Then Eugen stopped, his eyes locking on something glinting in the sand. It was a white conch, its surface carved by years of tides. He held it out to me, like offering a tiny piece of the ocean's soul. My hands trembled as I pulled out my phone. I had to capture this moment. Eugen laughed, tilting his face to the sun like he belonged right there. The waves kept rolling like they were cheering us on in their own way. Then he turned to me, his smile softening into something deeper. His voice was a whisper, but it hit me harder than any wave. "I love you," he said, and my world stopped spinning for a second. I didn't hesitate. I said it back like I'd been waiting my whole life. The world faded out, only him, the sun, and the warmth between us existed. I leaned in, my lips meeting his in a kiss that felt like coming home. For that moment, nothing else mattered. Just us and the endless beach stretching out. He still held that conch like it was a lucky charm for us. Our fingers laced together, the conch nestled between our palms. The sun started to dip lower, painting the sky in soft golds and pinks. We walked on our steps in sync, like we'd been doing this forever, and in that moment, I knew this was where I was meant to be. Later, I looked at the photo. His smile was brighter than the sun. Eugen put the conch to his ear, grinning like he could hear the ocean's secrets. The sun haloed his face, making him look almost ethereal. We sat down in the warm sand, letting the waves lap at our feet. The cool water washed over our ankles, a gentle reminder of this perfect day. Another quiet night with Eugen, but my heart's bursting with an urgent wish. Kuro's curled up between us, purring softly like he knows my secret too. Eugen's already fast asleep, a tiny smile playing on his lips. I brush his cheek gently, his skin still warm from our shared blanket. This room feels perfect, but I'm craving something more permanent. I keep replaying our wedding plans in my head, sun, sand, forever with him. I've already picked out the perfect bouquet, just like the ones Eugen loves. The ring's been in my pocket for weeks, waiting for the right moment. I lean in, my heart pounding like it did on our first date. I kiss his forehead, a silent promise passing between us. I promise myself right then and there I'll love him forever, no matter what. I settle back into bed, my eyes fixed on his sleeping face. My eyes start to feel heavy, but my mind's still racing with dreams. When I fall asleep, I dream of our perfect wedding, just like we planned. Eugen's smile is brighter than the sun, and I know I'm where I belong. We exchange rings, and the crowd cheers so loud it echoes across the water. Even Kuro's there, in a tiny little suit, looking just as happy as we are. The sun sets as we kiss, painting the sky in pinks and oranges. Our forever starts now. I smile in my sleep, already looking forward to making that dream a reality. For now, this quiet night is enough, but tomorrow, I'm going to make forever ours. The moon shines on his face, making him look even more perfect than usual. I lace our fingers together, feeling his steady pulse against mine. In this moment, I know that no matter what happens, we'll always have each other. This is it, the beach wedding I've dreamed of. Standing here with Eugen. Isuke and Reiji stand right beside us, their smiles as bright as the summer sun. Our hands are locked tight, my nerves melting away with every beat of his heart. Who'd have guessed we'd go from rivals to this standing as each other's best men? The ocean's breeze carries the scent of flowers, and I swear time's standing still just for us. Eugen's smile is softer than the sand beneath our feet, and I can't look away. Even Kuro's here, tiny paws holding our rings, like he knows how much this means. The simple platinum rings glint in the sun, no diamonds, just us and our forever. Every face here is familiar people who've seen us stumble and stand back up. When I look at Eugen, I don't just see love, I see my whole future staring back. The flowers we picked together line the altar, each one a reminder of our journey. I start reciting my vows, my voice shaking, but my words true. Eugen's eyes glisten with tears, and I know he's feeling every word I say. Isuke's looking away, but I see his eyes glistening, even he can't hold it in. When I finish, Eugen pulls me close, and the whole crowd erupts in cheers. I slip the ring onto his finger, and in that moment, I know this is forever. Kuro trots back to us, his tail wagging like he's proud of his job as ring bearer. Reiji's clapping so hard his hands must hurt, yelling words I can't overhear but feel. As we kiss, the sun shines brighter, and I know I've found my forever home with Eugen. Our rings glint side by side, a silent promise to love each other always. The crowd's cheers mix with the ocean waves, making this moment feel even more perfect. I kissed Eugen in front of everyone, my heart racing faster than it ever had before. The crowd roared with cheers, and I spotted Isuke and Reiji clapping proudly for us. Eugen's cheeks flushed bright pink, and he ducked his head, looking utterly adorable and shy. I pulled him closer, holding him so tight I thought I might never let go of this perfect moment. This day was everything I'd ever dreamed of, and so much more than I deserved. Eugen grabbed the wedding bouquet, a playful glint in his shy, warm eyes. He tossed it high into the air, and all our friends turned to watch it soar. Reiji leaped up and caught it, whooping with excitement like a kid on Christmas. Isuke clapped him on the back, and I could tell he was just as happy as Reiji was. We gathered for photos, all of us grinning like we just won the lottery. As we posed, Isuke leaned in and whispered something that made my heart swell. He told me he was proud of me, that he knew I'd find happiness eventually. Tears pricked at my eyes, and I smiled, nodding to let him know I heard him. We took more photos, laughing and joking like we were back in high school again. Our hands were clasped tight, and I could feel the cool metal of our rings against my skin. Later, we danced under the stars, swaying to the music with everyone else. Eugen rested his head on my shoulder, and I could feel him smiling against my neck. Iska and Reiji were dancing too, Reiji spinning around with the bouquet held high. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, making everything feel magical. I kissed Eugen's forehead, whispering that I loved him more than words could ever say. We finally did it. Our brand new house with a perfect yard for Kuro. It's so much bigger than our old apartment. We can finally spread out. Eugen's eyes were sparkling. He'd been waiting for this for so long. He raced through the rooms, touching everything like it was magic. I pulled him close and kissed him. This was our future. Finally here. Our hands laced together, tight like we never wanted to let go. We started unpacking, surrounded by boxes full of our lives. Eugen held his manga, arguing where to put his favourite series. I pointed to the empty wall, perfect for his growing collection. We worked together, laughing as we organised every single book. Outside, Kuro was already chasing butterflies in the yard. Eugen watched him from the window, his smile warm and bright. I'd never seen him look this happy, like all his dreams came true. I joined him, and we watched Kuro play, silent and content. We went back to unpacking, making this house feel like home. We opened the last box, full of little things that made us us. We collapsed on the couch, staring at our perfectly arranged home. Eugen looked at me, and I could feel all his love in that glance. Our hands found each other again, tight and warm on the couch. Kuro ran in and jumped on the couch, making us laugh again. Kuro curled up in Eugen's lap, purring like he'd found his heaven. Every room felt warm, and ours like we were meant to be here. I grabbed my phone, taking photos to remember this perfect day. The photo captured everything, our joy, our love, our little family. We stood outside as the sun set, ready for whatever came next. Eugen's hand brushed mine, gentle and full of unspoken promises. We went inside to make dinner, chatting like we'd done it 100 times. Eugen chopped vegetables, focused like he was making something special. I handed him a soda, just like I did all those years ago. We ate dinner together, quiet and happy, like this was forever. Our quiet afternoon started with Kuro chasing a butterfly, like his life depended on it. Our new home's yard felt like the perfect little paradise that day. Eugen sat there, grinning, like he'd just seen the funniest thing in the world. I pulled out my phone, desperate to capture this perfect, quiet moment. In that moment, everything felt just right, like we were exactly where we belonged. Suddenly, Kuro abandoned the butterfly and came bounding straight for Eugen. Eugen laughed, running his hand over Kuro's black fur like he was handling something precious. I pocketed my phone and made my way over to the two of them. I wrapped my arm around Eugen's waist, pulling him a little closer to me. We walked to the porch together, Kuro trotting at our heels like a little shadow. We sat down on the porch steps, just watching Kuro explore every corner of the yard. Kuro was having the time of his life, pouncing at leaves like they were enemies. I noticed Eugen's smile fade a little, like he was thinking about something big. Then he spoke, his voice soft like he was scared to say the words out loud. I want to adopt a child. My eyes widened. I'd never dared to hope he'd want the same thing I did. I grabbed his hand, squeezing it tight, like I was afraid he'd take the words back. We looked at each other, and I could see tears shining in his eyes, just like in mine. Kuro curled up in the sun, completely unaware of the big dream we'd just shared. We leaned against each other, watching the yard, already imagining our future together with a child. The sun started to set, painting our little world in warm colours, and I knew this was just the beginning. Eugen went back to petting Kuro, like he was already practicing being a dad. I pulled out my phone again, needing to capture this moment of quiet joy. The butterfly Kuro was chasing earlier landed on a flower, like it was watching us too. We sat there holding hands, with Kuro at our feet, and I felt more complete than ever before. As the day faded, I knew our little family was about to get a whole lot bigger. Lying beside Eugen with Kuro between us, my throat burned with an unspoken wish I feared to voice. Eugen's soft, warm gaze held mine, like he could already sense the big question in my heart. I squeezed the sheets until my knuckles whitened, terrified of ruining this perfect moment with my request. I want to adopt a child, I whispered, my voice trembling with hope and fear of rejection. Eugen's face lit up with a warm smile, and the weight in my chest suddenly lifted completely. He leaned in and kissed me, soft and warm, and I knew he felt the same longing I did. Even Kuro stirred, as if he knew our little family was about to get even bigger. We held hands, grinning like fools, already daydreaming about our future child. What do you think, a girl or a boy? Eugen asked, his voice soft with excitement. I don't care as long as they're healthy and loved, I said, meaning every word. We talked for hours, imagining them loving manga, playing with Kuro, and growing up happy. Tired but giddy, I closed my eyes, my mind still racing with daydreams of our future. I fell asleep and dreamed of a little girl with bright eyes running straight into our arms. She was perfect, and I knew in my heart she'd be wrapped in so much love. In the dream, we held her tight, and I felt a peace I'd never known before. When I shifted in bed, I felt Eugen's hand squeeze mine, grounding me back to the present. Moonlight spilled over us, soft and quiet, and I knew this was only the beginning. I smiled in my sleep, already counting down the days until our dream came true. Eugen's hand rested on my chest, steady and warm, like he was promising to stay by my side. As I drifted back to sleep, I knew our little family was going to be full of love and joy. I blinked awake for a second, seeing Eugen's sleeping face, and felt my heart overflow with love. He was even more beautiful asleep, and I couldn't wait to start this new chapter with him. Our hands stayed locked together, a silent promise of all the love we'd give our future child. Today's the day we've waited for. We're finally at the adoption agency. We've rehearsed this 100 times, but my voice still feels shaky. The caseworker smiles warmly, but my heart's racing like crazy. She slides a folder across the table. This is it, our big moment. We take a deep breath, ready to start the process that will change everything. My fingers brush the folder, and I can barely keep my composure. Eugen turns to me, and I see the same hope in his eyes that's burning in mine. Then she shows us a photo of Hannah, and everything clicks into place. I didn't expect to cry instantly, but there she was, our little girl. Eugen's finger brushes her photo, and his breath hitches, he feels it too. I blurt out questions faster than I can think, desperate to know everything about her. She tells us about Hannah's love for drawing and her favourite stuffed bear. Eugen squeezes my hand so tight it hurts, but I don't mind, we're on the same page. Every detail makes us fall more in love with her. We have to bring her home. Now it's time to sign the papers that will make this official. My hand shakes as I sign, but I don't stop. This is our future we're writing. Eugen signs next, and his voice cracks a little when he finishes. We hand over the signed papers, and a weight lifts off our shoulders. The caseworker smiles and says, "We'll hear back in a few weeks, we can barely wait." As we walk out, the sun hits our faces, and I know our lives are about to change forever. We hold hands tightly, already counting down the days until we meet Hannah. We walk down the street, laughing and planning all the things we'll do with her. I set her photo as my phone wallpaper, so I can look at her anytime I want. Eugen talks about buying her art supplies, and my heart feels so full it might burst. We turn the corner, and I know that this is just the beginning of our new life together. Hannah burst through our door, and I knew our quiet days were officially over. Our new house felt empty before, but her laughter filled every corner instantly. Even Kuro couldn't resist her charm. He patted over, curious and cautious. She knelt down, her small hand gently petting him, and he melted right into it. Eugen and I stood watching, our hearts lighter than they'd been in years. I had never thought I'd get this perfect, messy little family. Eugen stepped forward, ready to wrap her in a hug, and she ran right to him. She latched onto his neck, chattering about her favourite toys she brought with her. Before we knew it, she was off to explore her new bedroom, toy held high. That toy was her most prized possession, proof of the little life she carried with her. We followed her to her new room, watching her bounce on the bed like it was the best thing ever. I pulled out my phone, suddenly desperate to capture this perfect moment. We squeezed onto the couch, Kuro joining us, and I snapped the photo. When I looked at the screen, my chest felt tight. This was our family. We sat there for hours, talking, laughing, just being together. Eugen was so gentle with her, like he'd been waiting for her his whole life. I couldn't look away. This was the life I'd always secretly wanted. Even Kuro settled in, purring softly as Hannah stroked his fur. The sun started to set, painting the room in warm golden light. In that moment, I knew this was just the beginning for us. She told us all about her toys' adventures, and we listened like it was the most important story ever. Eugen looked at me, and I knew he felt the same. This was where we belonged. I grabbed my phone again. This time I wanted to capture every little detail. Hannah made a silly face, and we all laughed as I snapped the shot. The hours passed, but none of us wanted this day to end.